We are in Tahoma. What city is this? I don't even know.
Maple Valley.
Maple Valley, Washington. It's beautiful here, by the way. The drive. I stayed in near the freeway in Auburn. I don't know what city.
That sounds good.
And so I stayed there. I drove about 15 minutes. It is really pretty. I was tempted to do it. You guys know what Marco Polo is?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I always make fun of my wife because she's old and does Marco Polo with her friends, and like we ask high school kids like what Marco Polo is, and it's kind of for older generation. You guys know it, so that's good. Anyway, my name is Alex Stoddard, and I am from CS Music. And Mr. Riggs, we coordinated to have us come here today. We're doing a workshop at the University of Washington tonight. And so we wanted to just visit some high schools. And on the screen right here is Darrin Adams, good friend of ours. They're all waving to you. I don't know if you can see them very well.
I do. I see them. If I don't talk, the screen flips to them, which is great.
Okay, great. So I've never seen Darrin with this much scruff, though. I like that. He looks very, very ready to go.
It's called a beard, Alex.
Oh, a beard. I have scruff. So Darrin's a good friend. He's been working with us. He's a performer, composer, a entrepreneur, a Broadway vocal coach. He's performed on cruise ships and in opera houses and in musical theater productions for just a number of years. And it's a good friend too. And so we kind of bring him along wherever he'll come with us, and we bring him along, or he brings us along wherever we'll go with him, and we kind of work together with that. And so he's graciously come to work with you, and later on. So Darrin, I think I'm gonna talk first a little, and so but you pipe in wherever you want to, and we'll have some Q&A for Darrin too, because this is your chance to connect with Broadway, your chance to connect with the industry. He's in New York. You're in New York City right now, correct?
That is where I'm standing. Yes.
So he's there. He's got the pulse on the industry. So I want you to be able to ask him some questions, and then towards the middle, we'll start bringing up some singers to work with.
Awesome.
Work with you. Now this is. Let me point. This is Mr. Riggs.
Hi. Hi, Mr. Riggs. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, you bet.
So he will be accompanying us today.
Awesome.
With that, I've got to show you. Darrin will talk a little bit about this, so I don't want to. Have any of you ever needed a piano player, but you haven't had the money or the time or the accompanist right there at your disposal? One of the cool things, so with CS Music, our whole goal is to help singers. And one of the cool things is we try to go find out resources that help singers and pianists. And one of the things we've worked with Darrin a lot is this. Have any of you ever heard of accompanist? You have. We've got one. You hear that, Darrin? We've got a. Oh,
I don't have it because I have an Android, sadly. But.
Oh, pain to my heart, but we are developing Android. It's just taking longer than we hoped. Sorry.
So with that, I'll have Darrin talk about this a little later because it's just a fabulous tool to help singers practice wherever, whenever, however. And they've just got, you can download just really inexpensive that you can get for your primary songs for, I think you get 6 songs for a whole month, and you just practice whenever you want. You still practice your teacher, your coach, your accompanist, but then you can go home and really practice. I don't do it service because you can control so much, and I'll have Darrin show that in a bit so that he can do the full service of it. But that's kind of what we do, is we help find these resources for singers. So again, my name is Alex Stoddard, and I want to know quickly a little bit about you so that then we can help you. Tell me just your name and one thing about you, some focus, something that you're really interested, passionate about, want to get out of music and life.
My name is Sophia Hines, and I'm interested in opera and classical music and pursuing a career in that.
Cool.
My name is Ali Roscoe, and I'm also interested in opera music and classical music and pursuing a career.
Cool.
My name's Gia Fuda, and I really like classical music and just maybe pursuing a career like at college or just
going to choir.
My name is Lucia Flores Weisman. I write my music and sing at gigs. I'm
Do music.
Awesome.
I'm Molly Stitt, and I'm interested in classical.
Natalie Hanger. I'm interested in just music.
I'm Haley Frame. I'm interested in singing classical in college.
Okay.
I'm Tia Bright. I'm just interested in music. I'm Casey Wells. I'm Maddie Fickle, and I want to pursue a career in musical theater, whether that's like performing or directing.
Devin Toomey's classical or
You're in the right spot, you two. It's good. Or 3. I like that. Your odds there. All the women. So I'm saying you're in a good spot there.
Hi. I'm Mina Fine. I just want to get into college.
I'm Riley Ellis, and I just like music in general. I'm Will Chapman. I want to pursue furthering musical theater in college and beyond that too.
Excellent. Well, good. It's a good mix of classical and musical theater. I want to pass out a couple of things for you real quick. Do you mind? I got 2 things I want you to do. We got some nifty swag for you. Some pens. Some CSU pens. Who can't use more pens? But with that, I would like you to just fill out a quick student survey with it. And then, so there's pens and then that. And as you're doing that, I heard a lot of you want to go on to college and scholarships. And that is actually one of the primary things we're doing, is we're going around the country helping students get scholarships and get on that path into that recruiting pipeline in the school. CSUs, we've been working with colleges for 15 plus years. We have contacts at literally every major and minor university in the country. And we have faculty there that know us, and we want to put you in connection with them. And so one of the things that we've started is our scholarship program. It's our online recruiting event. And what it is, it's so simple. You guys post a recruiting video. We get it judged by university faculty, and then we send it to our entire list, our entire network of recruiters. And we've been, you see this picture of people right here?
I'm in that.
You're in this.
Yeah.
You were there.
Yeah.
Awesome. I knew your name sounded familiar. Well, tell us about it. Tell them about
It's
this.
amazing. It was in Boston last year, and it was like 4 or 5 days. It was like this convention competition where you got to go to this college fair thing every day, sign up for master classes, work with your faculty from the colleges that you're interested in, and even potentially receive scholarships, like a lot of people in those pictures.
So where did you get your scholarship to?
Pepperdine University, DePaul University, and Illinois Wesleyan University.
Yes, Pepperdine.
What?
Yes, Pepperdine. I went there for 2 years.
Oh, you did? That's awesome.
The most beautiful campus.
Yeah, it's pretty.
Awesome. So you got 3 scholarships. And so we've been doing this at live events, but now you can come to the live event, but you can also, and we want you to go online and submit a video. And guess how much this costs you? $0. $0. And guess how easy it is? Super duper easy, if you will. Okay? And all you need to do, and there's a website there, you go, upload your video to YouTube, link it to the site, and wham bam, we're gonna get you in that pipeline.
Does that have to be musical theater?
Nope. Nope, you put your style. That's primarily what the content do, but we have people, the admissions and faculty from everywhere. So it's a really simple process. But, and I'll leave some more flyers here. So that's kind of what we're doing, and getting some information to help you guys out. But we're also trying to help you out with this whole getting into scholarship, getting into school. And one of the things that Darren's going to work with a few of you is your audition, your pieces, and he's going to give you some real some real-time feedback to help you with that audition material, and it's going to be very wonderful. But I also wanted to get some Q&A going for you, asking us and Darin. One of the things that I did, we surveyed a bunch of universities asking about the audition process and the application process. And so Darin, pipe in here if I say anything, if you want to add anything, if I misquote or anyone. As we interview people, we're going to play this Family Feud style. You guys know what Family Feud is? Is that too old? Different generation.
We know it.
I know what it is. Good. I love Family Feud. Okay. As we were saying, what was the one thing teachers said, these faculty and admissions people, the most important things in your college audition? What do you think some of the top issues or points of emphasis were? Family Feud, what do you think?
Issues.
Yeah, money. So I mean, as you're preparing for your college audition, what are some of the most important things for you to keep in mind?
Presentation.
Presentation. Okay. What do you mean by that?
I mean, when you walk in and you look confident and the way you introduce yourself, not just your singing, but just everything around it. Okay,
good. The presentation, the way you do it. I'd say if we had the scoreboard, you'd be like number 3. Let's go 15 points for that answer, which is there. One of the things, before we get to that point, one of the things that they said is you've got to show them that they want to work with you. This is their audition, your audition for them. They're going to be working with you for 4 years. And if they don't want to work with you for 4 minutes, they're not going to want to work with you for 4 years. So part of that is that presentation, like you said, going in there confident, but also not arrogant, and also humble, but not timid. If you can have both of those, workable and personable with that. So the presentation is absolutely there with that. What else do you think? Yeah.
Maybe like the material you're using to go into, so make sure it's like it fits you, and it's like what you're auditioning for, and like what they want.
Yeah, I wish I had a ding 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 bell, because that actually in the survey and the questionnaire, that was the #1 thing that people talked about, was your rep. What do you think, Darin? Talking about the rep for college audition, what advice do you have for them?
I was going to say, interestingly, for professionals, knowing characters, music, you're right, and then going sense of real weirdness. But Alex, you hit on something important, which is that, am I echoey in there? Sorry, guys.
It's just a little echoey. Maybe it's just a little slower.
Okay. But Alex, you hit on something really important about the wanting to work with. What I hear from professional casting directors more than anything else is, people will go in with some big, heavy, angsty thing, and you forget that this is our 5 minutes to see and know you. So whether it's a college professor or a casting director or a creative team of a musical, it's super important that we get some sense of, like you said, Alex, how you are going to be to work with. And it might seem that's just a personality thing, but it's actually something you can work on. It's actually something you can prepare, just like you prepare your music. How am I presenting myself? How do I enter the room? One girl in there said, how do I enter the room? But also how you smile and engage and care about people. That all goes into them having an overall impression of you that this is someone I want in my school or I want in my show.
As far as that rep goes, one of the things that stood out to me as talking to teachers is the genuine and not just the genuineness, but something you feel are comfortable with, but love, have that passion for, and something that isn't bigger than you or smaller than you, but so you're not looking, you're coming to study and improve and to grow into that. And it's not something that repertoire should be so far out of your league. It should be something that you, like I say, the word that kept coming is that the passion, something that you love, that you can show your emotion and genuineness with that piece of repertoire. But choosing the repertoire was just is a huge part of that selection with that.
I have one more, Alex. And that is, in terms of musical preparation, there is sort of a bare minimum that you really need to go in musically prepared. There's in professional auditions and very much with schools too, if you tackle a big, important piece, or if you tackle a difficult piece, but you're not prepared, you don't have the runs clean, you don't have it well sung into your voice, it's not well prepared. The problem is you're going to be in a pool of people, whether it's at a college or a professional audition, you're in a pool of people where the bare minimum we expect is your lyrics cold. You're not going up on lyrics by the time you get in the room. You have the music well prepared. It's in your voice enough to where everyone gets nervous, everyone gets tight. But I mean, if you go in there and it's clearly not placed well in your voice, that's all stuff that you can do that sort of takes that question away, just takes it right out of the room. And then we can actually listen to your performance and see the personality. We can't get to that if there's note problems, pitch problems, rhythmic problems, lyric changes. All of those things are sort of the bare minimum. So I would set that as a bar as we're talking about this. I think the quickest way to get people to sort of turn off is to have one of those bare minimum things not met before you get in the room.
Sure, thank you. One of the questions I asked these professors too was, listening to so many people, how can you, the performer, the auditioner, stand out? You know, you got this whole pool of applicants, all these people on scholarships, they all want to get to the school, there's only 8 or 10 that can get in. How do you stand out? So I throw that out to you. How can you stand out from the crowd?
Maybe show that you can do different styles of music, like if you're with song choice anyways, picking songs that maybe highlight different aspects of your voice.
Okay.
Showing you're versatile.
Maybe pick something that's more unique and different, like not your main typical song or repertoire or whatever, and it kind of makes you stand out in that way.
Okay, if it's in the wheelhouse. What do you think, Darrin? How can these students, as they're auditioning for the college, stand out from other applicants when there's so many out there?
I mean, it's a tough one because you can stand out musically, of course. I thought the song choice comment is sort of spot on. It's not the big barky thing that shows the huge high note or whatever it is. If you sometimes go in with something beautiful and sensitive and presented in a way that shows you connecting with the material, I think that can stand out. Certainly in Broadway auditions that I've been in, as people come in, you know, they'll call them park and barks, where they just come in and sing the big note and leave, and we're all sort of turned off until somebody comes in the room with a piece they truly connect with. And sometimes that's finding the moment that isn't the big crazy moment. So that's one. But I think the second one of standing out is to be you. You as a person already stand out. You are unique in and of yourself. And I think when you go in with all the weight of, oh, I hope I get this school and I hope I sound as good as the girl before me or the guy before me, I think that's where you don't stand out. Where you stand out is when you are comfortable in your own skin and you go in showing who you are and be yourself. And I think that is a standout. Then, of course, as I said before, picking stuff that shows you know who you are, I think that can be a standout versus the people who have clearly just picked, I have this incredible A flat that I'm going to show at the end of this piece. That's kind of the turn off of all of it.
It's funny, I don't know if Darrin cheated and saw the survey, but actually some of his things were exactly what these professors had said. I was just quoting them because I wanted to get them right. They're saying, just sound like you. Work toward your own musicianship and expressivity within the style. Strive for genuine authenticity. What sets someone apart is expression. And they have this quote. I like this quote here. To play a note is insignificant. To play without passion is inexcusable. That's a quote from Beethoven. They had that. But just talking about being you and finding your voice, what you're comfortable with, and that if you love it, it shows, and that stands out. Is that somebody that you connect with and you want to be a part of? And because there's going to be a lot of good singers. And it's hard to, it's all so subjective that what sets you apart is maybe that you connect with that faculty member, is knowing it. One interesting thing too, a number of people have said and I've talked to, is they really like when you take the initiative as opposed to mom and dad. And that's hard sometimes because a lot of our moms and dads want to push us. But I've talked to a number of faculty that are really impressed when the student contacts them, when the student sets something up, as opposed to mom making all of your college arrangements. And that's an important thing, is you take the initiative. And that really shows a cut above the rest with that. Do we have singers ready to sing here? Are they ready? Before we do that, I want to turn it over to you. Do you have any general questions? And we can do this at the end as well, but maybe one or two for Darin right now about anything, about performing, about Broadway, opera. He does the crossover. He's done it all. And so really, there's anything, please. Actually, can you see her? Maybe come up here and ask her.
You're fine.
Okay. Yeah, just stand up and you can
Stand up. Okay. So when you were talking about subjective, how it's very subjective, how will you know if like you pick a song and you feel super comfortable with it, you connect with it, but it might be older for you? Like some people might think that it's too old for you or it's not right for you, and then that can like harm your chances in the future. What is your advice on that for when you're picking these songs that mean a lot to you? How do you know if it's what they think of you? That makes sense.
Right. Yeah, no, it's a great question, because I think all of us who are musicians and singers, we're passionate about music, and you can hear a piece from a show that you just think, oh, I'm dying to sing this. This I can express my deepest heart and being through. But the problem is, maybe the one you picked happens to be a 40-year-old African-American woman. That is not a great bet when it comes to musical theater. Opera, we've kind of stretched it for years. People don't generally look or seem like the characters they play in opera, but in musical theater, typecasting is much more prominent. And so I've heard it many times that by picking something, just because you connect with it emotionally, you also have to have done your research to know, is this an appropriate character that I could actually do? And then while we're on that subject, there is a cultural appropriation sort of debate burning around right now. So like I had a young blonde girl who loved singing that piece from Once on This Island. And we canned it because I was like, you're going to get killed if you walk in a room with this thing by some casting director who says, no, you cannot sing Once on This Island, or, I can't sing Old Man River. There was a day that was an acceptable practice. Now it is not. So I think to answer directly your question, when you go to connect with a piece, the first thing to ask yourself is this a character that I could potentially do? Schools are a little more lenient on this. They let us do pieces as work pieces, but if you're going to your local regional theater or a professional theater, it's important that you really go as the actor saying, I know what I'm marketable as. So if you come in with anything Sutton Foster sings, or come in with Legally Blonde or something like that, that's all going to work. There's a million things that you could do, but there are things that you need to avoid doing. And then the final word on that is just in terms of your connection with it, the passion that you bring to it, just keep in mind it's not what you feel when you're presenting your audition. It's what you allow us to feel as a part of that experience with you. So you've got to get some outside input from coaches and people like that to be able to say, I understand you feel you connect with that piece, but here's what's disconnected for me about that. And that'll help you. I would never go into an audition setting not having been with somebody outside of me who can say, oh, it's beautiful, your voice sounds great, but something is not connected about this for you. Once you have that put together and you get someone outside of yourself to say, wow, yes, I feel it, I believe it, and that's something I could see you doing, then you're nails.
Okay, thanks. Let's do this. Let's get some singers to go first. Our working with Darin. Darin, can you show them a little of App Compass before we start?
Yeah, sure, I can. I don't even know, like, you probably can't see that if I do that, can you? Maybe it's weird. It's fine. I'll just tell you about it. So
I can pull up the same song if you want. I have it.
yeah, so generally, well, I'll kind of describe, yeah, if you can, and you can take a peek at Alex's phone, but I've got so I've got behind me, I've got a Bluetooth speaker and a phone, and our whole goal with this app was that this would become, sorry, wow, that's kind of loud. That this would become a practice room for you. And the whole idea is that we're not replacing accompanists and coach time. Believe me, that time is critical and important. But even as a Broadway teacher, I can't tell you how many times people come in and they'll set their iPhone down and say, could you record that for me so I can practice at home? And my answer now is no, because static recordings that you have to just listen and sing with are not great for you in terms of how you practice. It's really important that you have some control. And so that's what we did with this. I'm going to play a little. Can you guys hear? If you can hear this, right? So if I'm singing this piece of dawn and dew, now I'm holding a fermata. The notes are still ringing. When I'm ready, I can release, and I'm playing the next chord. There was love all around. So I control when the next chord comes. I can also slow way down or speed up and hold notes till there was you. Whenever I'm ready to end the note, that's when the note ends with me. So we built this, and you can explore it on your own. You know, I don't need to give you a full demo because I want to hear you guys sing. But if you have an iPhone, sorry if you have Android, we will be out eventually, but it's a little ways off. If you can go to the App Store and download it for free, there's 10 sample songs on there. You can mess with it, learn all about it. But basically, you can put any song in any key. That's important for trying where is it best in my voice. You can hear a melody emphasized for you, and you can hear more melody or less melody or no melody and just the accompaniment. You can, as I said, fermata, pause. You can slow the tempo down, speed it up. It doesn't change the quality. You can edit and create little 16-bar cuts and 32-bar cuts and mark the piece. So there's so much you can do with it, and really that's the key to it. Is we took the approach of, okay, if static recordings and practicing with YouTube is not good for singers, how do we make something that is good for singers? And that's what we've developed. So please do check that out. Worked with a whole team of musicians to get it done. We're really excited about it. We keep adding repertoire. So you can go check that out. I want to hear you guys sing, and I'm going to do this very much like an audition feedback. So you're going to sing as though you're auditioning, and I'm going to give you feedback of what I see that you normally wouldn't hear. You would just get thank you and you'd leave the room, and I get a chance to actually give you some feedback and say, here's what I saw, here's what you could improve, and I'll just do as much of that as we can in the time we have. Cool, Alex?
Sounds good to me, Ken. Is that good?
Yep. Good.
Yeah. Where should I stand?
Oh.
And feel free to do classical or musical theater. I spent a lot of time in both. So
should she face the camera?
yeah, that's nice.
We kind of do like a cut of the song. Is that cool, or do you
An
want?
audition cut would be great. You will typically be asked to do either 16-bar or 32-bar cuts. If ever you see a brief song, that generally means about a 32-bar cut. And your teacher there, Mr. Riggs, can explain that when things are in cut time, sometimes you'll do more measures, but you're kind of covering the same amount of time. So, but yes, I would love to hear audition cuts if you can.
Oh,
Holy talent out there in Seattle area. Wow. Beautiful. Yeah, a really nice presentation too. Really, really beautiful. Can you just tell me a minute, just give me, for the benefit of everyone sitting there, what it is you're expressing? What's the underlying need to tell in this aria for you?
So there's this guy, and she can't have him. Like, she lost him, and this is how I interpret it. She lost him, and she needs him back. She's dying inside without him. And just the separation between them is killing her, and she needs.
Great. So one thing that would be good to sort of internalize for it is when describing a piece, when I said, what's the need to tell, describe that as I. Just make an I statement, because there is no her in this situation. It is you. So go ahead and from an I statement, tell me, what do you need to express? What is it that has to come out of you? What's the number one need me to know?
I need my love back.
I need my love back. Okay, and so maybe in it, I'm dying without him is an addition to that. Okay, so listen, I'm just going to give you quick feedback, because beautiful voice, beautifully handled. There's times at the top, because of you're young and you have this brightness to your voice, that sometimes you're getting a little back and a little bit dark, and it's partly just because of your facial expressions. And the facial expressions, they're very calm. Your jaw is relaxed, your throat is open. That's all good stuff. It's great stuff. But I kept feeling like, even with pain, if I'm trying to express that, oh my gosh, I cannot live one more day without this person. Do you see that there's actually teeth involved in that? If I try to show that I'm sad or bummed by everything I say is sort of through this face, and I'm just gonna, it doesn't actually do the job of expressing, because when we're truly in angst, when we're truly like, oh my gosh, you guys, this person just said the worst thing to me. I can't even believe it. And you see that in my face, there's all of this expressiveness that is not calm. It's not deadpan. So with you, can you just take one teeny section? I'll go to the next person after, but can you go, how about right on the chorus? Oh, tell me, oh. Let's just go right there. And I want to see at times where the thought hits you and causes more in your face than just calm, I'm going to create a beautiful tone. Okay?
Yeah.
Stop for a second. Okay, good. Can you go further with that? I actually want to see some teeth. And I know you've got your placement right and everything, and we're not going to screw that up. But if I sing, oh, tell me your do, back here, or oh, tell me your dolce, it has more presence, more resonance, more bite. I want more of that too, if I could.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, tell me your dolce
Great. Stop one more time. So that to me is where you need to go. And there needs to be levels of thought. I kind of got one girl the first time feeling one thing. I want to see the thoughts in between the phrases that motivate this next thing that you're saying, and you'll come to life. And I think that'll be better. Be a little careful. Da, 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 da. When you're doing a little melismatic thing like that in classical music, be very careful it doesn't scoop like musical theater, because snooty teachers get all over that kind of thing. So I think your presentation is beautiful. I love it. And I just want you to sing it in your own age and body and face, and show us what an angsty girl who thinks the world's going to end. Look, if the guy doesn't come back, the world isn't going to end. That's the beauty you learn as you go through life. But be where you are, and as your exact age, what it feels like when it's like, oh, I'm going to die if I'm not with him. That's what we want to see in this. Okay?
Thank you so much.
Great. A dude.
Yeah, dude. Finally.
I'm gonna get a drink of water though.
Like one dude in the class?
Two
Two dudes. All right, cool.
Hello, I'm Will Chaddock, and I'm gonna sing "Lost in the Wilderness" from Children of Eden.
Love it.
Don't you ever watch the eagle fly to the sun? Wonder how he got to be so free. If you ever have, you know your journey's begun. Hey, what if we got to lose one when already we are lost in the wilderness? And where we are headed, boy, I couldn't even guess, but off we go without a warning, running as we hit the ground, where our future lies aborted, where our hearts are outward bound. So in bright and distant morning, we may stop and look around, and there in the wilderness, finally we'll be found.
Sorry, I had to. Muting. Am I unmuted?
You are unmuted.
Okay, good. I muted while you were singing because I realized that sometimes I don't hear you as well if my microphone is on. So sorry about that. Great presentation. There were times. What's your name? Will. It's great. And this is a good, we were talking about how to choose material that makes sense. Yeah. Oh, that's even better. I can see you better now. This makes sense to me on you. It's really a nice selection for you. The bright stuff on the top gets super exciting. So Will, at the beginning, my immediate feedback is just there's some placement stuff where I'm going to have you start over again, but you're starting real tall, almost like voice lesson mode, where it's like you're making vowels the way a crossover singer would make them. And one of the big differences between when you sing classical music and when you sing contemporary musical theater like this is vowel shapes. Now, once you got to the chorus, it was no problem at all because then you had to do it. You were way up in your head voice. You had to be bright. That smile that I'm seeing there. But when you start that fast-spoken, I love the cut you've chosen, by the way. Coming into an audition in this way with that kind of energy, especially on a question, is perfect. But then when you take your breath in, I want you to be prepared to ask that question bright and forward, not voice lesson mode, but just like guy trying to get an answer out of me mode. Can you start from there? And I'll hold my hand up if I need to stop you, okay?
Don't you ever watch the eagle fly to the sun and wonder how we got to be so free?
So when you say, wonder how we got to be so free, it's like got becomes this other kid for a second. Wonder how he got to be so free. We don't need that. Just wonder how he got to be so free. Like stay in that super contemporary mode for us. And let me just hear what it does, okay?
Don't you ever watch the eagle fly to the sun and wonder how he got to be so free? If you ever have, you know your journey's begun. Hey, what if we got to lose, boy, when already we are lost?
So, our love is what I heard. Oh. And you just were in this great place where it was all out here. And so when you go, are lost, bright, as opposed to are lost, it's gonna, believe me, you will sound wonderful when you're auditioning for like Man of La Mancha with that, but you're perfect. Your verse is perfect. Can you see if you just don't have to leave? Can you stay young and kind of bright and out front for Are Lost? Okay, just back up maybe 4 measures, if you will, Mr. Riggs.
If you ever have, you know your journey's begun. Hey, what if we got to lose, boy, when already we are lost in the wilderness? And where we are headed, boy, I couldn't even guess. But off we go without a warning, running as we hit the ground, where our future lies upborn and where our hearts are outward bound. To a bright and distant morning, we may stop and look around, and there in the wilderness, finally we'll be found.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. So that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's in terms of what we expect out of you in something like this is that connection the whole time. And we lose it for a second. If I know you're kind of working your voice technique for a minute, I lose that connection with you. But more importantly, that first Lost, when you went up, was just spot on awesome because you were on your teeth. You had that big smile. It was nice and bright and it didn't hurt, you know, like nothing of that hurt. You were nice and open in the throat. I'm all for that. It's placement that, of course, you know, if you're in a classical teaching situation, they're going to be like, oh, your tone is all spread. But, you know, go to Broadway. That's half of what you're going to hear. No, it's 90% of what you're going to hear. As long as you do it healthfully like you are, I don't worry about it at all. And I love it that way. So, yeah, that's really good. There was something. Oh, one other little thing. Back up to my little page. So if I make a lot of gestures like this, that are symmetrical, they become less believable in time. So I want you to do a little bit of preparation on this audition cut in front of a mirror and pick things that, like I'm talking to you now, sometimes I'll do this, but it definitely won't happen 10 times in a row. So just check out your symmetrical gestures and make sure maybe you get one hand out of the way and stuff. Other than that, I love it. Great audition.
So much.
Hi, my name is Ali Orozco. I will be singing Piangero la sorte mia by Handel. Piangero, piangero la sorte mia. Si
Beautiful. Beautiful. No, yeah, really second. The voices in what, Mr. Riggs, what are you doing that you could be at, this is a high school, right?
Yes.
What are you doing out there that you're getting all these amazing singers? Yay for you. I'm super impressed, you guys. Beautiful. Something funny happened. So when you finished your selection, your face and eyes lit up with this most beautiful smile and this most beautiful, yeah, exactly. And I know you're singing about tears and pain, and I get that. But at the same time, we have to see more in your eyes because it's very relaxed. It's a little bit what I said before. You know, it sounds a little bit repetitive. Your body is very relaxed. But again, same thing. Now that you have that as your technique, that your body's not interfering, it's very relaxed. You're not cramping your air support or anything. Now you need to reawaken that your body plays a part in the telling of this story a little bit. You know, and I actually think what I'm seeing of your expression right now, even, that's more alive. So can you just take a little bit of it? I'll just stop you, but start exactly where you started And tell me about the painful stuff, but remember that pain doesn't look just sort of devoid. It just doesn't, it doesn't look bored. Pain never looks bored.
Okay.
Sadness never looks bored. It just doesn't. Okay, go ahead. Yes, hold on. Fantastic. Here's the thing, darling, your whole vibrato and your whole tone of your voice is more connected when you do that. When you're trying to be super relaxed and stop, you know, sort of stop this outward expression, we got a little piange. There was breath and voice. Whereas this one, piange, it was all voice. It was like this. It was connected. That's key for you because your instrument is gorgeous. We don't need that little hiss of breath in there. Get that out of there from the beginning by awakening your face and body. Okay, one more time, and then I'll.
Piangero, piangero, la sorte mia. Si crudele tanto io.
Can you move your arms?
Do with my arms. That's why I don't move them at all because I feel like I'm gonna go like this. I feel like
Yes, but that's the challenge. It would almost be like saying, you know, I don't want to actually swing at the golf ball because I might miss it. You know, it's like you have to learn to make expressions with your body and your face as part of this process. So assuming that I'm going to look dumb if I use my hands is not a good reason not to use your hands. Find a good way to use them. Okay. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful audition for you. I just need you to wake the whole thing up a little bit. Okay? All right. Done with you.
Thank you.
I see backpacks. You guys must be leaving.
No, we have a little bit of time.
Okay. That's okay. 2 minutes.
But 5 minutes.
Should I do it fast?
Yeah.
Okay. That would be great. I'm willing if you are.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Hi, I'm Maddie Fickle, and I will be singing The Life I Never Led from Sister Act.
Ah, love it.
I've never talked back. I've never slept late. I've never sat down when told to stand straight. I've never let go and gone with the flow. I don't even know really why. I've never asked questions or taken a dare. I've never worn clothes that might make people stare. I've never rebelled or stood up and yelled, or even just held my head high. And all of the wishes unasked for, all of the truths unsaid, they're all I have left of the life I never lived.
Great. I think it's great. Beautiful. I love your acting style. There's a perfect choice for you. This song in a cut is a perfect audition for you. The gal who did this on tour is a student of mine who did this role on tour. In fact, no, she did it on Broadway. She was the second in, Lael. If you want to look her up, she's phenomenal. Listen to the mix because I'm just going to give you this feedback quickly. Could you do the ending as your audition cut instead? Because I feel like this is a good acting exercise, but it doesn't let us hear what we need to hear of it. Your voice is beautiful. The belt occasionally gets a little big mama belt, like a little heavy, the life I never, as opposed to the life I never led. You need to stay forward because as you come to the end of this piece, it's got to get into your belt mix. And you won't get there if you're so heavy down on your jaw like you are now. Can you, I know your friends have all left you. Bye, guys. I really enjoyed working with you. If you don't mind, though, give me just one little, Mr. Riggs, can we get like 16 at the end?
Yeah.
The end of the song?
Should we just start from the cut?
You mind?
It's for you.
And then I promise I will let you all go with a wave and a...
Or are we not in it? Yeah.
Remember, stay forward and young, please.
I want to be strong. I want to believe I'm where I belong. To stand up and say I'm seizing the day. To not just obey, but to choose. And I may not survive, may not see friends, but I have to know I still have a chance. And maybe I'll make a painful mistake. It's mine though to take a review. And all of the doors yet to open, all of the rooms ahead, they're beckoning bright, scary and new. But I'm standing tall and I'm walking through. What's gone may be gone, but I can't go on playing dead. It's time to start living the life I never led.
All right, good job. So, hun, I would say the main thing for me with you is get the belt forward. Your mix goes in beautifully, but they need to be closer together. The belt and the mix.
Yeah, I'm definitely, that's what I'm working on right now. I'm taking from this girl named Jacqueline, and she's totally helping me with that. So just not.
Tell her I want you to marry the belt brighter and younger to the mix.
Okay.
We're giving her a free CS Music shirt
For hanging in there at the end.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Darrin.
Thank you. Cool. See you tonight. Thanks, Mr. Riggs.
Thank you. Thanks.